Welcome to Public Interface. I'm Mark, and joining me today is Arunabh Arora, colloquially known as A2. He's a Senior Solutions Architect at Velir, and today we're going to be talking about designing systems. A2?
Hi, guys.
Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
So I guess the most important thing I really want to know is, what are you doing on a daily basis? What kind of problems are you solving?
I work with a lot of clients that start their system from ground up. They come to us with like a clean sheet. They want to build their site code tree. They come up with their requirements. But I think the hardest part of all that I solve on a daily basis is integrating with a lot of different marketing technologies. Each client has a different mix of what their search engine is going to look like, what their video platform is, what kind of marketing tools they're using, like Marketo, Salesforce, Add This. There are plenty. So one of the challenges that I face on a daily basis is that I need to understand in detail on how these marketing technologies actually work. How does the CMS work, and what's a business case I'm solving for? So the idea is that you want to marry the main CMS system and your marketing technology, so that your content author has the cleanest, most efficient way to do what he needs to get done.
And with this, not that any of this is easy, but what is the hardest problem that you really try to work on?
I think the hardest problem is keeping up with the updates, keeping up with what's going on, what's new. And it's not only just keeping up with the same kind of software, because each client has a different mix of these technologies. They have somebody has Coveo, somebody has Solar, and somebody could be just using Lucene. There's so many variations on what could be going in a solution, so it's just hard to kind of keep up with what a client has, what do they want in terms of solutions, what's the business case they're solving for, and so I think keeping myself up to date with all the software and technologies is kind of the hardest part.
And what are the clients doing with the systems that you're building?
There are lots of different things to do. One of them is, for example, Marketo sends email campaigns out to their clients. So our customers send to their clients. You can create the emails from Sitecore, keep the user segmentation in Marketo, keep the user profile data in Salesforce, and once the integration is done, all three of these kind of talk to each other, and the email is sent out like almost on a daily basis. So that's one of the things that they do. One of the other things that I work with very often with clients is data visualization. They ask me, they come with like a lot of data. They have this huge Excel spreadsheet that contains a lot of data that needs to be, let's say, for example, represented on a choropleth map. Just so everyone knows what choropleth map is, it's basically a thematic map that has shaded regions or patterned regions all across the map to represent a variable that is our data. So, for example, population density or per capita income, things like that can be plotted on, United States map to show the differences between what per capita income is in California compared to Massachusetts, so on and so forth.
Working with data is really difficult, right? Because you have so much data.
Yeah.
How do you end up working with like really large scales of data?
So one example of really large scale of data is, that I dealt with the same component. Once it was built, the client came back to me and said, this is great, but what we want to show is a varied range of data. So basically what that means is that, if you're trying to plot something like earthquake magnitude or, pH of a solution, pH value. So what happens there is that there is a lot of variance. The data starts from 0 to 10, and then from 10 to, let's say, 10,000, there's nothing. And then it goes from 10,000 to a million. How do you plot that? How do you put that on a scale? It's hard. So the solution there is a logarithmic scale. There's more variation, so you see the whole map more varied, more colored, and you're able to tell the difference between the data there.
And for a potential client that would want to do something with data visualization, what kind of things, from your experience, should they know about?
Data visualization is it's a tough thing to work with. There's a lot of tools out there. There's a lot of different kind of visualizations that you can use to map your data. So one of the most important things in data visualization is to understand your data, to understand the story you're trying to tell. All of these numbers are actually just telling you a story. You could use a bar graph, a line graph, a bubble chart, a curve with map, a heat map. There's so many different variations, pie charts, that you can use in terms to represent your data. So the idea is that you should understand your data and should know what is the right tool to represent it. Once you do that, I think it automatically tells the right story.
So my last question is, when you really have to concentrate and really get down and chew on a problem, what do you do?
I hop on my bike and go on for a bike ride. The longest I've gone so far is 75 miles.
Tough problem.
It just gives me time, I'm on my bike, I'm going down this trail and I'm thinking about solutions, or I don't know, thinking about a lot of things. Yeah. So it helps me get my thoughts together and get me focused.
All right. So thank you for sitting and talking with me.
Thank you for having me.
So that's our show. Follow us on Twitter at Velir. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, watch us next time as we implement another episode of Public Interface.